The last time Clemson made a national championship, Joe Burrow destroyed their hopes and dreams, and they've missed the playoffs the past 2 seasons, so I'm taking over before things go downhill. Sophomore quarterback Cade Klubnik has a very bright future, and I'm giving myself 2 years to complete 6 different goals. These first 3 in season 1 are very important because they'll put us on pace to go for a title next year, and if I fail to complete any of these 6 in the 2 seasons that I play, I'll be giving away a jersey to a random commenter. I'll also be keeping things very realistic, so we'll be using a 12-team playoff tool in the second year, and I'm hoping that I can keep around running back Will Shipley for both seasons, but that might be a long shot. He's our standout guy on offense, and on the defensive side of the ball, we have Tyler Davis, Jeremiah Trotter, and Barrett Carter. I think we're just a few pieces away from winning it all, but with 4 starting seniors, the defensive line's going to need some help, and I'm going to shoot for some of the top recruits. With Fang's recruiting mod, true freshmen can be over a 90 overall, and I brought it back because it's so much more realistic, plus it's harder to recruit on. As you can see, I've made sure that the schedule mimics what they'll play in real life, and I had to think long and hard about this, but we're going to redshirt the backup 90 overall defensive tackle and switch to a 3-3-5 so we can have him next season. Remember, we have to complete these 3 objectives in this first season, and hopefully that'll put us on pace to win a championship the following year. Now, I did find a 6'7" 4-star tackle I thought would be amazing, but he busted to a 50 overall, so fortunately Dabo Sweeney's a monster when it comes to recruiting with Instacommit, because we already have a 20% chance to get this guy, and we landed him immediately. It normally doesn't work this well, but I'm going to continue to offer it to players where we're number 1 on their board, and Alec Cohen ended up being a 79 overall. I was only able to find 2 guys over 85 overall though, and that is these 2 defensive players. So as the season goes on, we'll see if we can land them, but for now we're going to play our home opener, and I'm just going to hand this one off to get Will Shipley a touchdown. Approaching halftime though, I find it a little concerning we're only up by 10. I'm trying to get us on the board before the half. That's a first down, and I'm glad that Antonio Williams got out of bounds as well. On the halfback screen, Will Shipley won't go anywhere, so I'm going to have to roll out and make sure that I don't take a sack with Cade Klubnik. I think I'm just going to try to float this one up. It's going to be dropped, and it's still in the air. Can someone please knock it down? We are very lucky to be getting 3 points out of that drive, and at the end of the day, we're going to win by about 30 points, which is pretty solid. After this, we start ACC play though, so during our bye week, I made sure we had a good practice, and it's not looking like we're going to land either of these 85 overalls, so I'm just scouting everybody, hoping to find somebody else that we can target, but the prospects are already very limited. Like, I just discovered Nigel Green, who's an 88 overall, but we're 4,100 points behind, but we're going to work on climbing our way up the ladder. With Nick Green, the 85 overall tackle, we fell behind by too much, but we're able to open the door and get back into the battle, and we're going to do the same thing for Jules Wilson, an 87 overall that I found, and we're going to compete against Florida State. One of our season objectives is to beat a top 10 team, and we almost had a chance to do it against Miami, but unfortunately they're ranked 11th, so even if we beat the Hurricanes, it won't knock off a season goal. And speaking of Hurricanes, I'm literally recording through one right now in real life. Hurricane Idalia has me a bit rattled, because even though it's set to go a little bit north of Tampa, anything could happen, and we need to make sure we get a stop on 3rd down. How is this guy shedded 2-3 tackles for the first? And it might be a very long day. Losing at this point in the season wouldn't kill our playoff hopes, but it's also not ideal, and this might be a bad decision, but I'm going to go for it on 4th and 1, where Will Shipley's going to pick it up plus more. It's been a very low scoring game, as with 2.5 minutes left in the half, we haven't been able to get onto the board, and I think this offense is going to need another year of development. I'm going for it on 3rd and 16 though, and what a pass. That puts us in a position where we could end the first half with the tying touchdown, and that is a bad throw, so the game wants us to take our field goal, but I think we should go for 6, and there we go. It was a bit risky, but I think it's going to pay off as everything's changed, and with a few minutes remaining, the story of the game has been defense. Tyler Van Dyke has been struggling, and that's why we have had so much success, but I'm definitely not complaining about it, and it feels good to start the season 2-0. We honestly have a decent chance at the title this year, but if we're not able to win it all, if we could land any of these recruits, we're going to be even better next season. And now it's time for one of Clemson's many rivalries. At the end of the first quarter, it is 0-0, but instead of guaranteeing that we get on the board, I'm going to go with the fake field goal, and NC State was not ready for it. If we can crush them morally from the beginning, we'll have a much easier time winning, and I know we haven't been putting up that many points, but the defense is doing a fantastic job. By the time the 4th quarter rolls around, we have only given up 3 points to them, and I can't believe how low scoring it is, but we could seal it on this play, and that is a laser. I'm actually so surprised that Cade Klubnik made that throw, but he did enough to win player of the game, and since so many teams have already lost, we're already inside the top 4. The most disappointing college, though, definitely has to be Florida State, who's already lost to Pitt and Louisville, but even though we're doing well on the field, we don't have a single lead on any one of these recruits on our board, and I'm going to have to use open the door for another player. I think it makes the most sense to schedule these guys for our game against Notre Dame, and this matchup's for the top spot in our division. They lost Sam Hartman, so I'm not sure how, but Wake Forest is undefeated just like us, and they're actually going to be the first team on the board. Obviously, not ideal. On 4th and 10, we are going with a run instead of a field goal. I just just went with coach suggestions, and Will Shipley somehow got out of there. This unorthodox back juke ended up being the greatest thing in the world, but because I play on Heisman, I still haven't been able to pull away from the Demon Deacons, and they're going to get another field goal. I will give them credit for having one of the sickest backdrops there, and the other side of the field is pretty cool as well, but that doesn't win you games, and I am going to go for a 50-50 ball to Bo Collins. He is a massive receiver, and he actually came down with that ball. I was not expecting that. The junior is 6'3", but Cade Klubnik completely underthrew it. Now he's going to go over the middle to Stellato, and we are knocking on the door with a minute left in the first half to go up by 8 points. The Demon Deacons did well, but in the end, we're still about to take a 3-possession lead, and I would have loved if we could have held on to this touchdown, but instead, we're going to have to take our 3 to go up 18. That made sure that we secured the win, and with both the Buckeyes and LSU losing, we're up to number 2 in the country. So you'd think that we're on pace to complete all 3 of these objectives, but there isn't a single team remaining on our schedule that's ranked inside the top 10, and we'll see what happens in visit week against Notre Dame, but right now we are not set to get an 85 overall recruit. That's actually a major problem because we have a lot of seniors, but by the looks of it, we might win it all this season, so then I guess it wouldn't even matter. The goal is to win a national championship with Clemson. That's a bad start, and trust me, I know Syracuse is a good team. They were fantastic in the imperialism I just did, so Will Shipley needs to score here, and on 3rd and goal, Garrett Schrader is going to hand it off where we're going to get the stop. I'm a bit surprised that they're going for it on 4th and goal. I read the read option wrong, but we're still going to hold them on the goal line, and all we have to do is make sure that we don't take a safety. With the Wildcat run, Will Shipley is going to find himself in some space, and it looks like there might be one guy to beat. He is going to swerve around him, and I think he's going to take this to the crib. That was an incredible running play, and because of him, we're going to end the first half with a 10-point lead. Ever since then, it's been a 2 to 3 possession lead that Syracuse just can't overcome, and they would finish that drive with a touchdown, but all we have to do is run out the rest of the clock. So 1 first down will do it, and you knew that Will Shipley was going to get that plus more. He had such a good game, so we're probably going to lose him to the NFL, and even though Cade Klubnik is only a sophomore right now, this feels like it could be our championship window. If we don't win this season, we'll have to complete in a 12-team playoff next year, but this is exactly what I mean when I say I don't think Cade's ready to lead us all the way. He's still tripping over players, but when he gets down into the red zone, he can thread the needle, so we'll see what happens, but this one is too close. There is no reason that we should be in a shootout against Boston College, but that is the position that we're in right now. They got the first down, and if this drive ends with a touchdown, I'm going to be sick. They're not going to take their 3. They are going for the lead, and on 4th and goal, I think we've everything locked up. We forced a fumble, that's it. The second that ball dropped on the ground, I knew that they didn't have a chance at picking it up, and we're just a few first downs away from sealing the win. On the slant on 3rd down, I am targeting Antonio Williams, and eventually we got into field goal range, so no matter what happens, it's a 2-possession game, which means halfway through the season, we're going to be undefeated. I mean, that's assuming we don't choke in the final seconds, but all we have to do is recover this onside kick, and Randall is going to hold on to the football. Jeremiah Trotter had himself quite the day, and I also just noticed that Will Shipley is up to number 2 in the Heisman watch. Next up on our schedule is 3-2 Florida State, and I'm going to be so upset if they beat us. Through the first 2 quarters, though, we're already trailing by 10, so we need to make sure that we bounce back and finish strong, and as long as we can make it into the end zone here, we should be okay. I'm going to juke to the outside with Will Shipley, and of course, he gets in. We're only trailing by 3 points, but with it raining this hard, I have really struggled on the offensive side of the ball. This 3rd and 24 could be massive. I can't get the throw out, and we need to stop on 3rd down. Jordan Travis is going to keep it, and we have him wrapped up, so if we can score quick enough, it is not over, but that is much easier said than done. They brought a lot of blitzers, and on 4th and 5, I'm just going to need to hope for enough time in the pocket. We're going to try the crossing route, and Randall holds onto the ball, so our comeback hopes are not dead yet. I'm going to roll out with Cade Klubnik here, and I'm going to have R1, and he is going to overthrow it into an interception. I don't know why he missed that badly, but we find ourselves in a position where there's not much we can do. The game is pretty much over, and I might as well just throw up some 50-50 balls hoping for the best, but our offense has struggled the entire day. I was afraid that that might happen, but because they've lost 2 games, we're still on top of the division, and as long as a few of these teams lose another game, we should be able to make the playoffs. Now, unfortunately, we still haven't had any luck in landing an 85 overall recruit or higher, and we have to continue to use Open the Door, but after we play Pitt, everybody's coming to town for the Notre Dame game, and we just need to take care of business here first. Approaching halftime, we're up 14-3, so we're in a decent position, but we can't give up any more points, because if we do, it'll then be a 1-possession game, but it's looking a lot more likely. I'd assume that they're in field goal range, which is not how I wanted to end the quarter, but at least we're still up by 8, and to open up the second half on our first drive, I think we're going to at least get 3, but it stinks that we weren't able to reach the end zone. These rain games recently have been such low-scoring ones, and I can't tell if it's hurting or helping us because we struggled last week, but this time we've held them to just 6. Assuming the Panthers don't pick up this 4th and 15, we should be fine, and I'm just going to lay the hammer. So we're back on track, winning football games, Williams, and seeing that Nigel Green has committed might be the best news we've gotten all year. This guy's going to be a monster wide receiver with 89 route running, and he also plays cornerback in high school, so we might use him on both sides of the ball. As for the other 3 defensive beasts on our board, they're visiting against Notre Dame, and I'm glad that we finally completed one of our 3 season objectives, but I have to focus on knocking out another one here because the Fighting Irish are coming in as the number 9 team in the country. There's something about the rain that just causes us to struggle. I'm going for it on 4th and 4. It's an underthrown ball to Antonio Williams, but he comes down with it, and what a miraculous play by him this just was. Ever since then, we've had a lot of momentum going our way, and Notre Dame can't even hold on to balls in the rain. So approaching halftime, we still have control, and I'm going right back to Antonio Williams. But since he was held short, Will Shipley's going to have to finish it off. It's not even halftime yet, and he already has over 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He's going to get another 15. So now I feel like we could end the quarter with even more points. That's exactly what we're going to shoot for. Antonio Williams with another catch, and we might not have any timeouts, but I feel like we're managing this clock very well. This might seem a little dumb, but I am going to try to get one more playoff. We're going with the deep post to Adam Randall. It's going to be a 50-50 ball, and he manages to hold on. Let's just say that with a couple of amazing catches, this game has not seemed difficult, and I think we're right back in the playoff race. I mean, we have one of the Heisman frontrunners on this team, but evidently that win didn't impress any of these recruits because they didn't commit. In fact, somehow we lost out on these 3 guys to other schools, but at least we ended up completing our second season objective, and as long as we don't choke 2 of our last 3 games, we've had a pretty good season. Surely the Cardinals won't beat us at home, but they also aren't going to make it easy for us, as here in the 3rd quarter, we are tied at 7-7. Luckily, I think we're going to score a touchdown here, but Louisville responded back, and our offensive inconsistencies have not been enjoyable. I think we have a good shot at winning an ACC championship, but we just can't have these close finishes. We should get a sack here. Jack Plummer escapes the pocket, and of course he gets the throw off. We just have to make a tackle now, and that's so frustrating. On 3rd and 6, I'm on the running back, but the corner route's going to get naked. Chris Bell is going to take it down inside the 5, and this is starting to look a lot like the Florida State game. We have a really good team, so we shouldn't be struggling with Louisville, but part of the issue is we lost Will Shipley earlier on with an injury, and we'll see how long a broken finger keeps him out for. He's in the Heisman running, so I'm going to assume that he'll play next week. We just need to get out of here with a win so our playoff hopes aren't ruined. And on 3rd and 4, I think they're sending a blitz. We're going to go to Antonio Williams, but Cade Klubnik misses the throw, and that puts a lot of pressure on this 4th and 4. I don't see anything getting too open. I'm just going to have to throw to our tight end. It's going to be intercepted, and they might end up taking this back to the crib. We have got to make a tackle. We have the 3 timeouts, but the entire left side of the field was locked up there, and all those recruits that would help us be even better next season probably don't want to come. That is it. They've gotten the 1st down, and this is an incredibly embarrassing result at home. I didn't expect to lose to the Cardinals, but since we've dropped to number 13, we're going to fly through the rest of the season, and I don't understand how Will Shipley's still up here after getting injured last week. To be honest, at this point, I don't even understand what's going on. There's no reason that we should be losing to Georgia Tech, and on top of that, every game that we've been down in has been a home one at Death Valley, so I'm not sure how we're struggling. The last season objective is to finish with 10 wins this season to set us up for next year, and if we lose this one, I'm probably not going to be able to complete that. I'm sure you all are rooting for it because that means I'd be giving away a jersey, but if we fall off too hard, making the 12-team playoff next season won't even be a guarantee. We're starting to come back though, and here on 1st and goal, I think they're going to send a blitz, so I'm going to roll out, throw it to Will Shipley, and score a touchdown. Then Georgia Tech returned our kickoff though, so we are back down by 2, and they must have missed the extra point. I guess if they beat us, that won't really matter. Here on 3rd down, I don't see anything over the middle, so I'm just going to have to dump it off to Will Shipley to get 15, and that was the safe move because I would like for us to stay in it, but they sent the blitz, and we really just lost to the Yellow Jackets. Transfer Haynes King didn't do terrible, but this end-of-year collapse caused this guy to commit to Oregon instead, and we're going to lose the division to Florida State as they go on to the ACC championship. Our final game is against our rival South Carolina, and pretty early on, we're already up 14-0. They sent a great blitz though, and of course that puts Cade Klubnik out for the game. I don't think it's going to matter because we've stopped Spencer Rattler pretty well, but I think that pretty much sums up how this season has ended. Will Shipley definitely carried the load, but since we don't have a conference championship game, I'm not sure if he's going to win the Heisman. It'll all come down to this moment of truth where I advance it, and it seems like he did, so that's good news, but we only made the Peach Bowl, and you wouldn't believe how many awards that we just won. Left end Justin Maskell went for 3 himself, and on top of the Heisman, Will Shipley also won the Walter Camp and the Walker. Receiving wise, nobody on the team really stood out that much, but I think that's because Cade Klubnik didn't throw for that many yards, and he's going to need to improve next season. As for our bowl against Mississippi State, it's incredibly important that we win to get to 10 wins on the year, because that would mean that we've completed all of our season 1 objectives, and on 4th and 2, Cade Klubnik is just going to pick it up. It ended up being a little closer than I would have liked it to be, but at least we're going to win in the end, and this run is going to seal it. That's going to go all the way to the crib, hopefully, so we can celebrate 10 wins in this season, and like I said, that means we completed all 3 of these objectives. The next big stage is going to be players declaring for the draft, and it's time for the moment of truth where we're probably going to have to convince these players, including Will Shipley, to stay. Obviously, we're already going to lose these seniors, but I am surprised that Barrett Carter and Jeremiah Trotter didn't declare. And as for guys like Nate Wiggins, all I'm going to do is guarantee a national championship, but the real question will be, will that work for Will Shipley? It says that he's going to stay, but I'm upset because that defensive tackle that we redshirted declared for the NFL draft. That means we really need things to go our way in off-season recruiting, and I did my best as we signed all 3 of the guys we wanted. That alone was enough to cause us to finish with a top 10 class, and let's just say that there might be 4 true freshmen starting for us. I think the smartest move will be to move Jacob Osser-Myers over to left end, and with training results, I'm using a dynasty tool to make it more realistic, which means we could get something like a +10 or a -10, and it looks like we did get one big boost on Harris Sewell. Cade Klubnik only went up 3 though, so that's a bit unfortunate, but now I need to move around every conference, and I honestly feel bad for the Pac-12. They're not even in the top 5 for conferences, but the ACC is at number 4, so hopefully we're able to take care of business and make the 12-team playoff. Unfortunately, we have to start the season at number 4 Georgia though, and I know it's supposed to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but that option isn't available for me. For our season 2 objectives, these are the 3 things that we need to shoot for, and remember, if I don't complete all 3, I'll be giving away a jersey to a random commenter. I guess I can't say I'm surprised that we're projected to finish lower than FSU, but at least Will Shipley's projected to win the Heisman again, and he needs to live up to his expectations, because if he doesn't, we're gonna have a hard time this season. He breaks 2 tackles there though to get more than just the first down. He is incredible, and what an ending to the first quarter. I'm hoping that we can score the first touchdown of the game. Here on 3rd and 12, I have somebody open, but he drops it, and the Bulldog defense has done a decent job, but nearing the end of the first half, we should go up 10-0, and let me tell you, all of those freshman defenders are making a massive difference as Georgia still hasn't scored. It's remarkable that they're making an impact already. On 3rd down, we're going to get the interception with Jaden Lucas, and it might have been a terribly placed ball, but he still made sure to get over to it. This 4th down is a pretty big deal. I went with the Wildcat, and we're not going to convert, which turned out to be a pretty big deal because Georgia scored their first touchdown right after that, and now I am going to find Antonio Williams for a 30-yard gain, but it's only a 3-point game, so we need to get into the end zone here, and Will Shipley might not have the speed to do it. He's going to try to fight, but that's going to be a bit short. I think the only reasonable thing to do for it is go for it on 4th and inches, and that is not Will Shipley. For some reason, the backup was in on the most important play of the game, and I think we just need to send the house in here at Georgia. We're going to get a safety. That's a beautiful tackle, but you have to wonder if our offense has improved enough from last season to actually help this team win a championship. I think we're going to be decent, but if anything's going to carry us, it'll be our defense with some of the new recruits, and I did not just make the wrong read there. That is the worst decision I've ever done. We were down on the goal line, and now Georgia just took the lead. I don't know why, but I panicked. I made the wrong read, and now we are not in a good position, except we're going to intercept them on the 2-point conversion, and if we take this back to the crib, we will have a 1-point lead. Come on, Norman, you've got to go to the house. This is incredible. I have no words for what is going on in this game, but Latrell Norman, the freshman, just made a massive difference, and I know you all saw the Tiger mascot going crazy on this return. It's kind of funny that we messed ourselves up, and now we're 1/3 down away from winning, which Antonio Williams is going to get, but somehow he was actually marked out of bounds, so we're actually going to need another. I'm just going to float this one up, and Adam Randall just made one of the best catches I have ever seen. It was a terribly placed ball, but he made sure to get over to it, and this was one of the weirdest endings I have ever seen to a game. It is all over. This is also a pretty good start to Will Shipley's Heisman campaign. And speaking of Heisman campaigns, I have to go all in on Shedeur Sanders on Prize Picks, today's video sponsor. He looked incredible against TCU in his opener, and right now Prize Picks is running a promotion where all Dak has to do is go for 1 passing yard or more and you'll win. That's literally it. So I have Dak to go for more than half a passing yard, obviously, and for Shedeur Sanders to go for more than 298 against Nebraska. I'll put in 25 to hopefully win 75. And by the way, boys, I can get you a deposit match up to $100 on Prize Picks, so use promo code BOARD when you sign up and they'll match you up to $100. Anyways, I'm ready to see how this season goes, and all it took was that one result to get us ranked inside the top 10. Since we'll be using a 12-team playoff tool, I'm going to try to fly through most of the games we should win, like this one against App State, but even they've made our offense look rough, and it definitely took us a while to get it going. Will Shipley did perform well though, but somehow he's losing the Heisman race right now to Dylan Gabriel. Next up on the schedule is the Tar Heels, but right now we have the #1 defense in the nation, possession, so I guess it's no surprise that with 3 minutes left, we've held North Carolina to 0. Without Drake May, the Tar Heels couldn't do anything offensively, and it's nice that we're already the number 4 team in the country, but even with over 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, Will Shipley keeps on dropping. That means he needs to have a good game against Georgia Tech, and on our first drive, we're just going to hand it off to him and he's going to take it in. I don't know what it is about Haynes King and Georgia Tech though, but they have stayed in it better than anybody else. He's about to scramble, so they're within just a possession, and a game that I thought would be relatively easy to win is not turned out to be that way at all. If we can finish this drive off with a touchdown though, we should be okay, and Will Shipley just found so much space, so I am super happy with him right now. On this third down, I am just going to use all of that. We're going to lay the hammer, and now we just need to get the stop on 4th and 7, get the win, and that is a beautiful defensive play. Will Shipley also bounced back with this stat line, but right now we're in a 3-way tie at the top of our division, and remember, one of our goals is to win an ACC championship, so this season we cannot lose to Louisville, and let's just say I was not making the same mistake twice. We've done a fantastic job, and I'd love to go up 28-0 on this 3rd and goal, but Cade Klubnik is not going to find anybody open. That's a sack, and let's just hope that this 3-possession lead doesn't keep the Cardinals in it. Well, I'm really hoping that we can hold on in the final seconds. I'd love to shut them out, but they're down on the goal line. This is the final play of the game, and that ball's floated up, knocked away, so the Cardinals literally just scored 0 on us, and of course, Will Shipley also played amazing. He's starting to move back up in the Heisman projections, but Nick Singleton's at number 1, and I need him to do even more if we're going to complete the Heisman objective this season. It sucks that he won it last year because that makes it incredibly hard to repeat, but he just had a breakaway run. What a spin move, and I can't believe he got marked short, but he's still going to get his touchdown. I have played a lot of NCAA football over the last year, but this Clemson team is very special because not only do they have an offensive stud, but the defense is also one of the best in the nation, and we're about to play one of our toughest remaining matchups. NC State might not be ranked, but they're 6-1, and I'm starting to realize why they don't have a spot in the AP top 25. I mean, I'm not trying to knock them or anything, but their defense is not good, and Cade Klubnik is about to make an incredible play. He just avoided a sack, and he throws for a touchdown. So it's clearly already over, and I just feel bad for MJ Morris. We have won so many games by a large margin, and I guess that's why we jumped Penn State to become the number 1 team in the country. Will Shipley also jumped Nick Singleton, which is great, and even if we lose a game, we're still going to make the playoffs. I wasn't expecting to be in such a close battle with Wake Forest, but here in the 4th quarter, we're just going to go up by 10, and they're about to respond back with a touchdown of their own, which is not good. It seems like they're going to go with the read option again, and we have him wrapped up, but we pushed him in, so we're going to have to run the ball to pick up a few first downs, and Cade Klubnik just has the speed to get to the outside and fight for a lot more. I thought that Wildcat formation was going to be Will Shipley, but it turns out we didn't even need to use him, and we're 1 first down away from being able to seal the win. I think we have the outer edge here. Will Shipley's going to break free down to about the 25, and with 3 QB kneels, we're going to leave with the win. Last season, our first loss came against the Seminoles though, so we need to make sure that we play better because they are fighting for a spot in the 12-team playoff, and if they beat us, we'll probably make it and play them again. They always give us a good game, and Will Shipley's not in right now, but we have a great backup running back who's going to dive for the end zone, and Florida State would respond back, but we have the ball inside the 5, and that's a great throw. Cade Klubnik has definitely improved since last season. He's going to find Will Shipley here who gets locked up, and it would stink to get held on 3rd and goal, but I'm going to go with the option run. We're going to pitch it to Will Shipley, and he's not quick enough. He was too tired to make a play there, but you know what? We will take our 10-point lead. Flash forward to the middle of the 4th quarter, and we're still up by 14, and that makes this 4th and goal massive. The Seminoles are going to go probably to the running back. I guarded it, and what a play. Just like we've had to do in previous weeks, we need to run out the clock, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do it against Florida State. Will Shipley got the outside edge, and he fumbled the football. Just when everything looked good for us, he couldn't hold on to it at the end of his run, and with a minute remaining, the pressure is definitely on. I'm using Carter. They take it to the halfback. He goes down to the 5 to the 2, but even if Trey Benson scores, we're going to have a lot of time, and this is not what Clemson would do in real life, but we're going to lateral it back to Will Shipley. That return was terrible. I thought I was going to pull off a highlight play, but we need to get into field goal range, and I really didn't want this game going to overtime, but I think it's what's going to happen. We just took another bad sack, and on 3rd down, I got the ball out in time. Randall comes down with it, so now we have a little bit of hope again. I just want to throw up a 50-50 ball to him. He made a miracle play, and he just made another one. No way, he broke free down to the 10. Adam Randall has changed everything for us, as now we can go for a field goal for the win, and because we have Dabo Sweeney, they're not even able to ice this kick. It feels good to get revenge on the Seminoles, but Will Shipley's fumble dropped him to number 2 in the Heisman race, so he needs to have a big game against Syracuse, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but with 5 minutes left, we are trailing until this play. From there, we would get a defensive stop and go down the field again, but it shouldn't be this close, and the defense got another interception, but Will Shipley has yet to score a single touchdown, so his 152 rushing yards aren't going to help him that much if if he can't get in, and this could be the difference between him winning a Heisman Trophy and not. At least in the end, we still beat the Orange, but a Heisman seeming less and less likely, and Shipley's going to need to have a good final 2 weeks. I don't think Boston College is going to be too difficult, but I was wrong. The rain has given us a ton of issues on offense. Will Shipley has not been able to do a thing, so it's clear that as we get closer to the end of the year, it's hard to get wins. I can't believe how much of a defensive battle it's been, but Will Shipley hasn't been able to outrun anybody, so with a few minutes remaining, we are only up by 5. On 3rd and 14, we should pick it up, though Boston College couldn't get pressure in time, and of course, Adam Randall comes down with it. He's had an amazing season for us, and now I'm going to try to target Jake Bringingstool down the middle, which was thrown into a really tight window, but it worked out for us. On 3rd and 10, Boston College won't get it, so they have to go for it on 4th and 1, and we shot that gap all day. It definitely wasn't pretty, but we're going to keep our spot at number 1, and for the second straight week, I don't think Will Shipley's going to get a touchdown unless he holds on to this ball, which he does. I can't believe they left him that wide open there, but we're now 11-0 on the year, and we better not lose to the Gamecocks at home. Last year, we railed them, and so far this year, it hasn't been any different, but Will Shipley needs to get a rushing touchdown for the first time in weeks, and he's going to. If Spencer Rattler wasn't so bad, it might actually be close, but he's been terrible, and if we could end the game with one more Will Shipley touchdown, that would be incredible. He's going to make it to the end zone, so that gives him his 6th touchdown of the day, and you know that performance had to shoot him up to number 1 in the Heisman race. As for the ACC championship game, we have to play against 6-6 North Carolina, and we beat them 37-0 earlier this season, so if you thought for even a second that it was going to be close, you would be greatly mistaken. I mean, at least this time they scored 14 points, but they still lost by 5 possessions, and it was just brutal to watch. Clemson is back to running the ACC like normal though, and there's Dabo Swinney and Cade Klubnik lifting up the trophy. That result means we've completed one of our 3 season objectives, but Will Shipley only rushed for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns, so there's a chance he won't win the Heisman, but the results are in and he is at the top again. With almost 2,000 rushing yards this season, he deserves to have this many awards, and for the second year in a row, we didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver, but at least Cade Klubnik still improved, and Wade Woodaz won the butt kiss for the 2nd season in a row. Sophomore defensive tackle Peter Woods also won the Lombardi, and if you were wondering what the first 12-team playoff looked like, this is it. It looks like Deion Sanders got Colorado in at number 5, and they must have won the Big 12 in their first season back. Because I'm curious how this tool works, I'm going to jump into every game, and if they're close, we'll spectate till the end of it, but this one wasn't, as Shadur Sanders had a field day with the Kansas defense. The next one featured 2 teams that would actually make it this far, but even at 8-4, Alabama came into the playoffs, destroyed Texas, and apparently it's all because of this 91 overall freshman that they recruited. In my opinion, Fang's recruiting mod makes things more realistic, so let me know in the comments if I should keep using it, but this was not a result I was expecting. Western Kentucky made the playoffs last year, but lost in the semifinals to Oregon, and this year they made it back as the 11 seed, beating LSU, and for the final opening round matchup, we have Tulane and Washington State. It kinda sucks that not a single one of these first round matchups were close, but we're on to the quarterfinals now where we play Washington State, and I didn't think a single Big Ten team made the playoffs until I realized that Oregon was now in it. If we lose to Washington State, I'll be extremely upset, but to get to this point, they've clearly done something right, and I didn't mean the player lock here, but the freshman is gonna get the interception on the opening drive, and what a start that is for us. Now we're gonna hand it off to Will Shipley. We're gonna let him work all day, and no way he breaks free this early on. He's so good. Clemson is back to the way they were in like 2017, and the only thing left on this list we have to do is win a title, so there's a good chance I won't be giving away a jersey because we are really good. I'd say that filling in those defensive holes while getting Will Shipley to stay for another year were the 2 biggest decisions, because they've made this team almost unstoppable. We won this game with ease, and now we're going on to the semifinals. We'll be playing against the winner of this game, and there's no way Deion Sanders would turn around Colorado this quick. I don't understand how they're already this good, but Notre Dame is going to win, and it was much closer than anybody expected. They put up a good fight, but that onside kick will seal it, so we'll be going against Kenny Minchie. As for the other semifinal matchups, here's one of them, and keep in mind that Alabama has lost 4 games. When the playoffs expand next year, I don't want to see a 4-loss team in it, but that's what's probably going to end up happening. They clearly deserve it, and it's hard to believe that Ty Leftwich is a freshman. All I know is that if Oregon doesn't win this, Alabama's going to have a super easy path to the championship, and it all comes down to this 4th and 3 where Willie Taggart Jr. handed it off and they ended up picking it up. I didn't realize that he transferred from FAU, but now he's the Hilltoppers quarterback, and it looks like this one could be going to overtime. All Western Kentucky needs is the touchdown and the 2-pointer, so the Ducks could either clutch up here or let it go to OT, and that is very close. I thought he was going to get in clearly, but the ball never crossed the goal line, and Oregon will play Alabama in the other semifinal. I don't know who we'd play in the championship if we won, but we have to focus on beating Notre Dame first, and their offense is a lot better than the ones we've played in previous weeks. That would make a stop on 3rd and goal here huge, which we're going to get, and I can't believe they got it all the way down to our 1 yard line just to get 3 points. Now we just get to pound the rock with Will Shipley until they show us that they can stop him, and already he is breaking away for a 20-yard run. It could end up being a long game for them. On the corner route, I'm going to find Antonio Williams, but Kenny Minchie's wasted no time taking them down the field, and this time we can't stop them. I got to give credit where credit's due. This Notre Dame offense is tough to stop, and now they've held us, and I knew that this game wouldn't be easy, but I also wasn't expecting us to be in a position where we're about to go down 17-7. A stop on 3rd and 4 here would be massive for us. We just have to get some pressure in. Way too much time in the pocket though, and it's not looking good so far. They've been shooting the gap perfectly, so we've been forced to rely on Cade Klubnik, and he's just starting to get into a rhythm. That was a close one to Adam Randall, but he breaks free and he's going to take it to the crib. That was amazing effort by him to come back to that ball and then run around everybody using his speed to score a touchdown. And if we could just get 1 3rd down stop, we could get the ball back before the half, but Audric Estime gets the first. And I feel like this is the play where we're actually going to hold them. I have everything locked up. We don't get the tackle in time though, and it seems like we have no issues getting them to a 3rd down, but once we do, they end up picking it up. That's an interception. Come on, no way. I really wish that we were able to hold on to that football, but now we're going to go into the half down by 6, and we need to open up the 3rd quarter with a touchdown. The tight end is open over the middle. I saw Jake break free. He falls over, but we really needed that play to go our way, and you know what? I'm going to try to find him again. He was just fantastic, but they're going to fake us out with the read option for the 2nd time, and this 2-point conversion could change a lot, but of course they're going to get it. Going into the 4th quarter, we're down by 7, but we've also worked it down inside the 2, and Will Shipley's going to finish it off. However, I should have never simmed the extra point because that might come back to bite us, but we do hold them, and that's a massive deal because there is only a few minutes remaining, and we could control the outcome of this game. I might try to run down the clock, but after that big run from the backup, we don't have a choice. We need to pitch this out. Come on, Williams. You could get to the end zone here. Get around this one corner. You are able to do it, and wide receiver Antonio Williams gets it done. I don't know where Will Shipley is right now, but we're going to have to go for it on the 2, and of course he strained his Achilles on that drive. We're going to have to finish it up without him, so I would prefer if they weren't able to score. A lot of time back there in the pocket, and they're going to throw it. I'm going to mess up with Carter. That is a first, but they still need to score a touchdown, and they might have a long way to go. We get the hit, so I would assume that they're about to start passing. I'm going to try to get some heat in, and that should be an interception. Let's go. We are going to hold on to the football, and what an amazing play from Andrew Mubaka. We're going on to the national championship game, and I love how well Cade Klubnik is developing. Now we have to see who our opponent's going to be, and with about 20 seconds remaining, the teams are tied up at 35. Alabama's quarterback's going to take off to the 40 though, and I don't know how good the Crimson Tide's kicker is, but Ty Leftwich might have just won them the game. That's a beautiful pass. Who is on him? Of course, Oregon leaves the Alabama wide receiver wide open, so we're going to have to play them in the championship unless something crazy happens on this final play, and it's held on to, I think, or not. The Ducks are going to be completely eliminated, and it's time for the championship in our first ever 12-team playoff. Here inside AT&T Stadium, it is pouring rain, and do not ask me how because we are inside a dome, but that's not even the most ridiculous thing. 4-loss Alabama is in the championship game, and you already know that this is something that will 100% happen in real life at some point. I really don't know how to feel about the 12-team playoff. I think there are definitely a lot of pros and cons. We need to go out and win this one though, because my bank account cannot afford to give away another jersey. I've given away a lot recently, and that means losing out on at least 5 different steak dinners. The good thing is we scored a touchdown on our first drive, and now Alabama on 3rd and 12 isn't going to pick it up. So unlike the Notre Dame game, we have complete control of this one from the start, and Will Shipley just needs to finish off this drive with a touchdown. He isn't getting up from that hit though, so we're going to have to use our backup running back, and all I can do is hope that he's just experiencing a minor injury. On 3rd down, they're not going to get it, so they're going to be forced to attempt the field goal, and they went with the fake with Jalen Milroe. Please make the tackle on him. No way, he just broke that, and they're taking this to the house. Are you kidding me? I was not expecting the computer to do that, but the rain inside AT&T Stadium, which is a dome, as you can see on this kickoff return, aided them in getting a touchdown when they really shouldn't have. I am so upset right now because I felt like we had complete control of this game. Now I'm taking a sack, and what a terrible ending to this first half. Alabama's going to get the ball back as well. All I can do is hope that this bounces the right way and it gets right by the returner. Lucas is going to have to make a big hit here to hold them, and I missed. Of course, I missed him. Everything changed so quick. At one point, it was looking great for us, and now there's just 5 seconds left in the half. They aren't going to go for the field goal, though. They went with the pass, and time's going to run out. That was terrible clock management from Alabama, but it hasn't taken them long to get back inside the red zone, and of course, he ended up hitting that tiny throwing window. It's going to be 14-all here in the 3rd quarter, and things are starting to get very tough. They played the option perfectly there. Will Shipley is not going to be able to get out, so we have no choice but to start trying to pass the ball, and this is going to be a deep play, but I'm going for it, and it's an interception. I've rarely turned the ball over in this video, but of course when it matters I do, and they're about to get another touchdown. They've scored 21 straight on us, and it feels like we're witnessing a complete collapse because we can't do anything. Here on 3rd and 11, it looks like they're about to send a blitz our way, and I called it perfectly. I sent out the right routes, and Antonio Williams is gonna toast that corner. We needed a break like that so bad, and here on 3rd and 4, they went with the run, which we sniffed out perfectly. That means it's tied going into the final quarter, and if we could get Will Shipley going, that would be amazing. He's finally gonna have a little bit of space. They've done a fantastic job in stopping him, but hopefully we can start to build up some momentum, start to get some better blocks, and this is just ridiculous. They've made the Heisman winner, who came back to college to win it all, look like an average running back, and on 3rd and 12, we're gonna pick it off the halfback screen. The backup jumps into the end zone, so that was massive for us, but we still have to be able to stop Alabama at least one more time, and that's not going to be very easy. In fact, in the span of about 2 to 3 minutes, we've both traded touchdowns. It's 35-28. Ty Leftwich is breaking a tackle. He's breaking another one, and can someone bring him down? This kid's ridiculously hard to stop, and the worst part is he's a freshman, but maybe he's due for a freshman mistake. It is 3rd and 4. I need him to throw an interception, and he managed to just fall over by himself. This is the exact type of mistake that I was hoping he'd have, and I'm going to give all credit to the fact that it is raining in AT&T Stadium. On 4th down, they're going to get it though, and this championship game could not be closer. He has the flat. I'm going to let him get in because at least now we still have a little bit of time left, and I can't guarantee it, but with about 30 seconds remaining, we should be okay. I'm going to roll around with Cade Klubnik. I don't see anything open. I shouldn't have gone down in bounds, but at least we still have 2 timeouts, so it's not the end of the world, and I love that man-to-man coverage on Antonio Williams. Our kicker is not good enough to hit from here, so we need another big gain, and I'm going to find Will Shipley. Nobody was on him out of the backfield, and this should be close enough, but I cannot guarantee it. You know what? We might as well scramble for at least a couple more, and here we go. The 45-yarder with the sophomore is up, and it is just far enough. I've completed the 6th objective of this video, and near the end of season 1, it wasn't looking good for us, but we have done it. Dabo Swinney has brought Clemson another national championship, and let me know in the comments which program I should rebuild next. Until then, though, I think you're going to really enjoy this video, and if you want to see all the other rebuilds in one spot, they're right here.